Welcome to today's episode of Two Pigs in a Pod, a podcast for the people of Glazing by the people of Glazing. I'm George Lewis, editor at the People in Glazing Society, or more commonly known as PiGs, and I'll be your host today. I'm delighted to say joining us on the show today is Mark Handley. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Hi, George. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. How's life? How's life at Building Our Skills? Is
very busy. Very busy. A lot of travelling at the moment, but all for the right reasons. All very good. Thank you.
Perfect. We'll jump in with the first question in saying who you are and what you do within our industry.
So, as you've introduced me, I'm Mark Handley. I'm the partnerships manager for Building Our Skills, and what I do is I'm out there trying to encourage new people into our industry, spreading the awareness of fenestration and the job roles that are available.
Okay. And how did you get? It's the age-old question we ask on the podcast, but how did you get into the industry in the first place?
It started a long time ago, and I didn't want to get into the industry, to be honest. Tried my best to get out of it. My dad had a factory, so when I was 11, it was weekends and school holidays, gasketing and such, for pocket money. By the time I was 13, I was hanging tilt and turns and French doors, and I could do everything that was needed to be done in the factory, which made me decide that when I left school, I didn't want to work in windows and doors within fenestration. But here I am.
So what do you reckon it is that actually made you stay? Like, is there anything that stood out to you at that time that thought actually I could have a career in this industry?
So what I did when I left school, I went and did my IT qualifications, and it was a YTS. I think it was £26.50 a week that I was on at that point. So as I got my MVQs, my placement, believe it or not, was in a window factory processing windows and doors. At the end of it, there was no job, which is different to today's apprenticeships. But I needed to earn money. I got used to earning money, so I went back into the factory, started working there, and then it's all about the opportunities that came through my career. My dad was a small factory, 100 frames a week, for the jobs that they installed. And I wanted to progress. I wanted more money. But the way to get that was to leave and to move on to another company.
Okay. And what did your career progress after that? Where did you go to from your dad's factory?
I applied for a job at SAS UK that's no longer trading to fabricate the ultra frame roof on their factory floor. I was making conservatory roofs out of window profile, but in the interview, because I got my IT qualifications, the guy that interviewed me, Colin, asked me if I fancied working in the office. He wanted somebody with a factory background but an IT knowledge.
Okay.
And I took the opportunity. 6 months later, I was supervisor, or assistant in the office, which was great. 19-year-old, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that was the start of the office side of my career.
Yeah, and how did you end up working for Building Our Skills? What was the sort of the progression to end up on sort of this side of the fence?
So I've had a varied career. So I became a production manager for Trade Style, which went into administration. I worked at Distinction Doors for 5 years, sort of second in charge in their technical department there. As my career progressed, I had different, I moved on then to become a sales manager and then sales and marketing director at Consort in Mansfield. I left there and I thought I was going to have 6 months off and have a rest and take advantage of the time. That would be March 22. And by the middle of April, I was employed I had conversations with Chris Globe and Mick Clayton at GQA, and I found myself employed by Building Our Skills to become their partnerships manager. Like the idea of the role, and I love the job that it's become.
Yeah, and can you give us a sort of an explanation of I know that you do lots for the industry, but what sort of an overview of what building our skills is, and what you're doing, and sort of the plans?
So when I was employed, building our skills, the directive was to bridge the skills gap and to get the industry behind what we're doing and support what we're doing. So obviously, I spent time finding my feet, speaking in schools, introducing fenestration to education. We spoke to the Ministry of Defence and Ministry of Justice, but we found that the education route was the quickest and easiest route to get more people interested and hopefully into the industry. So we did more talks and presentations in school. I spoke to 99 people within education and invited them all to the Fit Show last year.
Yeah.
Last year. 22 the week before said, yes, we're definitely coming, and 4 turned up. So that's what drove us to change our directive again, and take the industry as a whole to different regions and get education there. That's where our Careers Festivals, the Careers Festival idea came from, it being regional.
Okay. Yeah, and we can speak about the Careers Festival. Obviously, you've held 2 this year. Like,
Yeah.
how were they from your perspective, and sort of what have been the key takeaways that you've taken from them that you're taking into 2025?
So the 2 Careers Festivals, we had 6 months of, we had probably 4 or 5 months of planning, and then 6 months after launching the idea of putting it together, and then all of a sudden it got quite scary and became very real very quickly, as it was
Yeah.
Careers Festivals the next week. But the industry got on board really well. We had 35 companies attend both South Yorkshire and Greater Manchester. A lot of them the same people, same companies, but obviously we had local companies to the areas, to the regions, which is really good. We had over 1,000 students registered, but we were told by the education to expect at least a 50% dropout. Well,
Yeah.
I think around 700 came across the 2 days, which was absolutely fantastic. It exceeded
Yeah.
what we thought it would be. The feedback from the exhibitors, great interaction from students, and the feedback from the schools was 2 phenomenal events, on both parts. And Greater Manchester sent in a secret shopper because they'd been offered things like this before, and it never amounted to anything. Well, the secret shopper reported back to the head of Greater Manchester Combined Authority and expressed how amazing the event was. So that encouraged us for next year's festivals. But with working in other regions, we expanded, or we had the idea to expand to 4, which would be South Yorkshire and Greater Manchester again, then West Midlands and West Yorkshire. And then on the flip side of that, speaking to somebody who we deal with in the north of London, an architectural aluminium glazing, we thought, right, we need to do one. We're not just a northern company, Birmingham is, or the West Midlands is south of where we normally are, but we spend a lot of time, so we've entered into the north of London as well. So it will be a total of 5 next year now, which is really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, and going back to the ones you've had this year, like, how important was it that you're getting through to not only the school kids that came and the college kids, but actually to the teachers too, that they understood what our industry is?
So we're doing a lot of work on it, building our skills myself. We're doing a lot of work with the teachers so they understand what is it our industry is. You speak to people, nobody knows the word fenestration. So you say, well, it's windows and doors, it's glass and glazing, and they're still taken back by it. So it's glass and glazing within construction, and we tell them that we called the event 50 careers in one day. And when we started out, we thought, there's at least 50 job roles. We put together 120 different job roles.
Wow.
So getting the teachers to understand that there's all these job roles a lot across 11 career families. So we broke it down into career families. So there's specifically, if somebody wants to look at marketing or sales or whatever it may be, transport, warehousing, finance, business
Yeah.
admin, the roles were just endless. And now the teachers are aware that it covers a whole aspect of other things other than just on site or in a factory.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
I think because
embracing what we're doing a bit
obviously
more as well.
you used the trading cards, didn't you?
Yeah,
That you used at the event. I thought that was a brilliant idea. That when I was at the Barnsley one, you had teachers actually picking up the cards to
yeah,
use for themselves. Going back to school. I thought that was a brilliant idea. Sort of a actual physical thing of showing you what
yeah.
all the different roles that were available.
So the trading cards, we put a card together with the family on the career family on the front, so they could see what it was, and we put these into different colours. And then, as you said, at the event, and we're still populating the website and building up, filling the 120 job roles. As you can imagine, it's quite an enormous task. But the cards work very well. And then, once the website is completed and populated, you go on to the careers portal, the families, and it tells you. Say you go into sales, it tells you the different roles within sales itself. It's not just field sales. There's everything involved, and
Yeah,
it tells you what links to other career families. And you're right, the teachers do like them because it's something that they can touch and feel, and they can pass on and hand round the class. And when I do my talks now, we change my presentation to obviously include the more details and a link to the website. So when I'm now discussing in schools, it's something I can leave for the teachers to introduce, and it's something more for parents to see as well. So the idea of the cards was that the students took them home, and the parent, oh, what's that? Like a bit of a top trumps type card that parents might relate to, and hopefully pick it up and click on, scan the QR code and take them to the website so they can see what opportunities are available.
yeah, and obviously you're speaking around the country, and like you said, you're
Yeah.
going to London next year. Does that message change do they understand the sector more in a sort of certain area where there might be like a manufacturer or a fabricator, something like that, where they actually understand the industry a bit more? Or is it kind of a actually not many of the schools and colleges know anything about, even if there's one on
So
their doorstep?
it's a difficult one, and I don't mean to speak out of turn or offend any teachers, but the teachers don't understand anything else other than education because
Yeah,
um, they went to
what they do.
school, they went to college, they went to university. Now they're back in school, so
Yeah,
that's where they're at. The difference in students is if they've got a family member that works within the industry, um, they know about it, about the potential job role to a certain degree, but that's only because my uncle's a fitter or my dad works in a factory or my mum's a customer care advisor or whatever it may be. My mum's in finance, for a company in their area. So it doesn't really matter where you are in the country. We're a great industry at selling our products, but we don't sell
yeah.
ourselves enough. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm trying to sell the industry and the opportunities to everybody.
Yeah, and speaking of that, how do you sell it? How do you sell this? It's a niche industry. It's not for everyone, but
Well,
there's people that have had brilliant careers in it, like yourself. Like, how do you sell it to them?
so what I try and do, and this is where I need the support of the industry, again, to come to our careers festivals, but working with our partners and supporters to join me on these visits into school, because I can tell my story, which I do, which I've touched on briefly with yourself, but I go through, I didn't like school. I couldn't wait to leave. I just wanted to work. And that
Yeah,
reaches to a lot of the students because you've got your students that are academic and you've got your students that are hands-on and they want to just get out in the world of work and they want to earn money. Um, so, my story telling them that I started in a factory where I didn't really want to be. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no help or support from school. I had nobody like me going in and saying what careers were available. And I became a sales and marketing director, and so if I
Yeah.
can do it, anybody can do it, and I've had a very good, very successful career so far. And, like I said earlier, I'm passionate about what I do and spreading the awareness and bringing people in. I love the job role that I've got. It's totally different. And again, tell the students you've got to find a job that you enjoy, that you like, because it's what you do for the majority of your
Yeah.
life. So,
Yeah. And is it important to sort of put that message out that it's not just, not just like you said, there's so many roles available. It's not just, working in a factory where,
yeah,
that hasn't always had the best of sort of
yeah.
it doesn't sound as glamorous as it is. Like there is actually so many more roles out there.
But
Like you said, you worked in the office and things like that, and like you said,
so
sales. Like there's so many different kinds of roles.
So what we're trying to do, and what we are doing, but we're trying to expand it and do it more into the areas that we're working in. But we're not just restricted to set areas. So we will work wherever there is a company looking for apprentices. It's sort of chicken and egg. You need a company that wants apprentice, but then you want apprentice looking for work. So you need a company that will take them in.
Yeah,
So one of the things that we're doing is workplace visits. So our supporters will come into school and talk about their story or stories, depending on where we are. And we need more people to do that. But then they're opening up their facilities, so we can take a group of students that are interested, so they can see the world of work and how it actually works through a, a local company, a local factory, a
yeah.
local office, a showroom, whatever it may be. So they can hopefully be inspired by what they see and meeting various other people within the business.
Okay. And moving on to obviously you spoke about it about 2025. You now got 5 careers festivals happening.
Yeah.
How can companies come and support you or the industry as a whole?
So get behind what we're doing and join us at the careers festivals. Um,
Yeah,
Find me on LinkedIn. Quite happy for my details if anybody has them to pass them and share them on, and just drop me an email, a text message, whatever they want. Um, Without the industry behind what we're doing, it makes it difficult to bring people in. But we have got some great partners on board with us that are doing a fantastic job. Um, we've got the systems houses, which tend to be your national companies, and you've got your regionals that are on board. But we also need more smaller local companies, because it will tend to be the local companies that will have the
yeah,
positions that are available. Um, and that's what we need. We are out there. There is a hunger for the students to want to work. I mean, yesterday alone in Coventry, I spoke to well over 50 people, but 25 to 30 young people actually interested in specific roles in our industry after speaking to them. So I've just got to make that connection, but I need the local
yeah,
companies to come forward and say, yes, we'll help and support.
yeah. And how easy is it for someone coming out of school, coming out of college, even coming out of university to actually get that role? Like, is there sort of a route that you'd say works better than others? Do you see
So,
more sort of the apprenticeship route being better at this moment in time, or is it completely different between roles?
yeah, I think the apprenticeship role helps, and it doesn't matter what age you are to become an apprentice, but it does help people get in and helps them with the training requirements. It helps the companies with we have great support setting up apprentices. Um, Sam's phenomenal in the work that she does for us. Um, and every time I ask her for help, she's finished helping me before I've finished asking the question. She's really, they are really on the ball. But that helps companies access the funding to get these people, that the young people or whoever they may be, the training that they need.
Yeah,
And once we've got them in the industry, we need to keep working with them and supporting them to give them further training, and further opportunities will come where they will grow. But we also need to work with existing employers to upskill them so they can move up. And, you know, it's all right. I've got one guy that's been in a factory for 15 or 16 years. We're trying to help him now give him further training so he can become a supervisor or a manager and move along
Okay.
in that company, because that supervisor or
Yeah.
manager that he reports to will be leaving at some point, because they're,
Yeah.
but then that
And then
opens
that
up
role
positions.
becomes available for someone
Yeah,
else.
it helps young people come in at the start of their journey. But what we need to do is embrace and use existing people within the industry. We need to use their skills, their
Yeah.
knowledge, and we need to cascade it down to the young people and support them coming into our industry.
Yeah. And
It is a great
how important
industry.
is that and how important is that from your point of view that, when you're potentially having someone that you've got the CV or you've helped them get this job, this apprenticeship at a certain company, that they have the right support around them, like mentors that actually will go above and beyond, not just, there to tick boxes, that they're actually there to, guide them through that apprenticeship.
So the ideal is that obviously they've got somebody that does mentor them and pass down their skills and their knowledge. Um, Building our skills, we're working on a forum where the apprentice can talk to each other, because what we've found is you've got somebody coming in at 16, 17 years old, and the nearest person to them is probably 30, 32. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of young, so the age gap is sometimes a bit of a difficulty and a barrier. So what we're trying to do is mentor as many people as we can at this stage, but then 2 years down the line, when today's apprentice has qualified and finished their apprenticeship, we want to continually work with them through that 2 years for them to become a mentor and help the
Okay.
new young person that's coming in. So the age
Yeah.
gap is a
Nice.
hell of a lot closer. And again, make it a better industry to support everybody, not just the young people, but it supports everybody throughout. Um, but we just want people that once they're in, we want them to stay.
Yeah.
And if they,
Yeah.
I've experienced it with my stepdaughter. She's just gone 18. She's been doing her apprenticeship, but her best friend at work is 35,
Hmm.
and she's got nobody else at that age. And her four friends from her school group of friends, they all went to college, so they've taken a
Yeah.
different path. So
Yeah.
she's sort of separated. She's still in contact with them, but nothing like she was at school. So she's 18, and her friend at work is 35, and I find that strange as a parent. But I'm grateful that she's got that support. But it would be better if they were 20, 21, 22, just a little bit. So
Yeah.
that's also something that we're working on in the background to put that together. But that would be
Okay.
for
And obviously,
apprentices across the board.
yeah. No, it sounds like a good idea. Yeah, to if that age gap is smaller, it will hopefully, entice. I really like the idea, of the apprentice becoming the mentor, and
Yeah.
just that sort of revolving door of knowing what that person is going through, and being able to help them through the questions that probably will come up time and time again.
Exactly, and we want to work with them and give them their mentoring skills as well. So it shows a bit of loyalty to the people coming in, that it is a great industry. This is what we're teaching them additional skills. Um, we want them to be recognised for what they do. We're a great industry for awards, and so why not recognise the young people for mentoring the newer, younger people coming in, and support what they're doing.
Yeah. And lastly, to end this sort of the main part of the podcast, we always ask people in our industry you speak to a lot of people. How would you describe our industry in 3 words?
That's difficult.
Yeah, just in 3 words is hard.
Fantastic, difficult. You've got me on a third one. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is a fantastic industry. It's very difficult at times, but it's very rewarding.
Rewarding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've found it very rewarding. Yeah, rewarding.
Nice.
Put the work in,
Nice.
you get the nice rewards out.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to move on to our quick fire question round. If you've seen previous episodes, you'll know that we like to get to know our guests a little bit more. So yeah, I'll fire away some quick fire questions, and it's the first thing that comes to your head.
Yeah,
So, what's your favourite day of the week?
Saturday.
Where's your favourite place to visit?
That's just changed. It was Morecambe.
Okay.
I'll stick with Morecambe.
Okay. What's been your favourite ever TV show or movie?
Brassic. Brassic for the TV
Nice.
show, Bad Boys for the film, the movie.
Nice, good. I like Bad Boys. Is a cult
Yeah.
classic. If there was a movie made about yourself, who would you like to play you, and who would play you? Do you think?
No idea. No idea.
What do you see yourself doing, or what do you see building our skills doing? How do you see sort of it building our skills looking in 5 years' time? Obviously, it's a long way away, but like where in an ideal world, where do you see building our skills being?
I think we'll, knowing what I know now and where we're going for next year, the careers events and what we're doing, the industry are getting behind us. They are contributing to what we're doing. So the careers events and what we're doing will just be bigger and better, and it will involve more than just fenestration, but it will be a benefit to our industry.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks very much, Mark. Yeah, I really enjoyed sort of hearing what the plans are, what the plans have been for this year, and sort of putting them in motion, and yeah, all the exciting plans for next year.
No, good. Thank
So
you for your
we
time.
like to give our guests a chance to shout out people whoever they want. It can be in the industry or people outside the industry. So yeah, fire away.
There's one person that I like to give a shout out to. He was an old boss, my old gaffer, a friend, but he taught me a lot, and I have a hell of a lot of time and a lot of respect for him. And that's a guy called Alan Welsh. He was my technical manager at Distinction at my time there. But I still speak to him, every now and again. But like I said, I've got a lot of time and a hell of a lot of respect for him.
Nice. Well, yeah, thanks very much, Mark. Yeah, thanks very much for joining us today. Yeah, I really enjoyed sort of hearing about your plans, and yeah, hope for PiGs to be involved as much as they can next year.
Yeah, well, thank you for your support already this year, and look forward to you being part of what we are, what we will be next year, and your involvement going forward with that. So, and thank you for your time today.
No problem at all. Well, that's it for today. So I hope you can join us for another episode soon. You can find Mark's episode and all of our others on our website, www.peopleinglazing.co.uk, on our YouTube channel, or wherever you get your podcasts from. And whilst you're on our website, you can also see when the next PiGs networking event is, read the latest people news from our sector, plus whole lot more. And don't forget to sign up for our bi-weekly newsletter, Sty News. Thanks again for Mark for joining us, and see you again soon.